Now, January 1st is the arbitrary date that many people choose to suddenly make large changes in their life. I'm going to lose weight this year. I'm going to be better with my exercise, seeing family, finding a better job, being less on social media, stuff of that nature. And many people are motivated for the first week or so, and then they stop. However, in this video, we're going to be talking about what if you kept these New Year resolutions and what the cost would be if you kept them. Let's go. Now, a big one that many of us want to focus on is saving more money. Now, saving money in general is very hard, but it's a noble goal because having your finances in check and making sure that they're good can help you a lot in the future for you and your family. So the biggest thing that people need to get used to is having money that they can't spend. In most cases, if you're not saving money, you're spending all of that money. Let's say your paycheck is, you spend 100% of it. It's going to be hard not spending 100%, maybe only spending 85% or 80% or even 70%. There's things you're going to have to cut back on. There's things you're not going to be able to do. Less food, less entertainment, less gas, things of that nature. And it's going to be a difficult transition period. But I assure you, while it is difficult, it is definitely worth it in the end. Because that 5% or 10% or 15% you're saving every day, every week, every month, or every year will build up over time and will have a fantastic impact on your life in the future. Now, to help you on your path, I'm going to be breaking down some options for you. Now, note, I'm going to be using the max you're allowed to put into each of these funds every single year. When you're starting out, you don't have to put on the max. It's not expected of you. If you can just at least start the saving, it's good enough. You know what you have to do eventually, which is get to the max, but that will take time. So don't put unnecessary pressure on yourself. Anyway, the max you can put into a Roth IRA retirement account for 2025 is $7,000, which seems like a lot of money because it is. But if you break it down by month, it's $583.3333 a month. Similarly, the max you can put into a 401k plan for 2025 is $23,500, or $1,958.3333 a month. Another vital thing to save towards is an emergency fund, which should have enough to cover roughly 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Now, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average American's monthly expenses are about $6,440. Saving for an emergency fund will take time, and it should be of high priority. If you continue to save, even if it's not the max, you will reap the benefits in the future. Think of it this way. If you don't save for the rest of your life, you will have nothing to retire to. You will have no money set aside, so you have to continue to work until you die. If you save 5, 10, 15, or even 20% every single year, 40 years later, you have a lot of money set to the side to help you for your retirement in the 10, 20 years after retirement that you're expected to live. Now, so think of it. A couple dollars today will reap hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in the future. Another resolution we try to stick to is exercising. Now, the average gym membership per month in the United States is between $40 and $70. For this example, we're going to be doing $55 or $660 a year. Now, the great thing about a gym membership is it actually goes down in price the more you use it. Think of it this way. So if you went once a month, it would cost you $55 per visit. If you went twice a week, now it's $6.90 a visit. And if you became really serious and went 4 times a week, it now costs you $3.40 a visit. So the more you go, the cheaper it becomes. Now, besides the financial costs, you need to consider the health costs. A lack of exercise can lead to a decrease in bone density and lean muscle mass, tightened hip muscles, and overall loss in muscle strength, making even small daily tasks more difficult. And that's just the minor stuff. A lack of regular physical activity can also increase the risk of obesity, heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and some cancers. Furthermore, physical inactivity accounts for roughly 8.7% of U.S. healthcare expenditures, or approximately $117 billion per year. Adults who are physically active spend nearly $1,500 less per year on healthcare than inactive adults. So yeah, the gym may cost $500 to $600 a year, but it can save you thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars in medical costs over your lifetime. In the same vein as the previous one, another thing that people want to do is eat healthier. Now on the screen right now, I have the My Plan Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2015 to 2020. So the guidelines to eating healthier are out there, but it's not that simple. This sort of diet could cost a family of 4 between $1,000 and $1,200 a month. Now, this statement was made in 2017, so who knows how expensive it could be nowadays. Plain and simple, healthier, higher quality foods will cost you more. So you have to invest in yourself when it comes to your diet. You need to think of yourself as a car. If you constantly put mediocre or poor quality oil or gas or other parts into the car, it's going to break down over time. You shouldn't expect great things from it. Similar thing to your body. If you're constantly putting poor or mediocre food into your body, then at some point, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when your body's going to start breaking down. Because the food we eat powers our mind, powers our body, creates new cells, gives us the energy to do the things that we do, and live the lives that we love. So, invest in yourself. I understand food costs a lot. I'm not expecting you to drop $50 on strawberries from Whole Foods, but maybe instead of having chicken nuggets and fries, maybe chicken breasts and sweet potato. One of the things that I think many of us can relate to is trying to spend less time on social media. Now, the average person spends about 2.5 hours per day on social media, while the average teen spends about 5 hours per day. Now, the first obvious cost is your time. 2 to 5 hours a day is a lot of time that could be spent doing something else instead of doom scrolling. It could be talking with your friends, walking your dog, reading a book, doing your homework, re-educating yourself, doing all of these other things that can actually benefit your life and, have long-term benefits. So just, if you imagine yourself, let's say 15 minutes a day doing social media, in 6 months, there's not going to be like, I created a new app or something. It's just 15 more minutes of social media. And the opposite let's say you, instead of those 15 minutes of social media, you do 15 minutes of reading. 15 minutes of reading every single day, eventually you're going to finish the book. That's the end goal. You've learned something and you've accomplished something. With social media, there's not really anything to accomplish because there's really no goal. It's just a continuous thing you do. The other aspect of social media is the negative effects and actual illnesses that it causes. Just to name a few: depression, anxiety, loneliness, fear of missing out or FOMO, poor sleep, low self-esteem, cyberbullying, eating disorders, and many more. What we see online is not always the truth and it's not always right. And when we start focusing and centering our lives on social media about how many likes that we get, or focusing on so-and-so's relationship, we stop living our lives. And that's the true cost. Now, I was there too. I used to spend countless hours on social media every single day because I was addicted. And then at one point, I think I spent like 4 hours on social media and I was like, this is ridiculous, I need to stop. So I went into my settings on my iPhone and looked at the screen time thing, which limits how much time you can spend on an app. And from that point on, every single week, I would lower the amount I could spend by 5 or 10 minutes. Now, this process took months, but by the time I was done, I only had limited to myself like, I think 15 minutes a day or maybe 10 minutes a day. But at that point, I wasn't addicted anymore because I knew and I was used to only spending a little amount of time per day on social media. And in some cases, I actually deleted some of those apps because I didn't use them anymore. I didn't care about them anymore. So there are ways to deal with achieving your goals and your New Year's resolutions. Reach out to other people, look online, and, do some research. Making massive changes in your life is hard, but it can have a lot of benefits long term. So do everything in your power to live the best life you can, and that can only happen by making big changes and keeping them. And with that, I'm Evan, and thanks for watching. If you liked what you just saw, then click on the video here. Also, if you haven't, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos.